back to this person's issue. You have an opportunity right now in that you only have 3 people, maybe 2, that you've got the salon, you've got a couple of people that are still with you. You have an opportunity to rebuild. What you've been doing has not been working. So now it's time for you to start looking at the big guys out there and figuring out how these guys are doing so well. And you can do this too. It's really simple. The reason the big guys are doing so well in our industry is because they're just doing what normal businesses do. And as I touched on, most salon owners haven't done what a normal business does. No business would dream of opening without a business plan, without a company manual, without policies, without all of these things. But we do it all the time as hair salons. So few hair salons actually do things right. So now you have an opportunity to do things right because your build out is done and you've got a couple of people. So here's the first thing I would do. Throw a coat of paint on your salon. Give your salon a quick cheap facelift. Paint it. Chances are it needs it. I know I need to paint my salons. So paint your salon. And then it's going to give it a little bit of a new energy in the room. Sit down with your staff and say, guys, things are a little bit ugly right now, but I want to dig deep and make this better. First of all, let's talk a little bit about me. And start going through some of the things that you need to improve. Say, like, what is it that you guys wish, let's not all pile on me right now, but let's talk about a couple of things that drive you crazy. Chances are it's only 1 or 2 things that are pissing them off, and have a heart-to-heart with them and then work on fixing it, because obviously it needs to be fixed. To be a better human, you need to be empathetic to the way other people's experience is. That's their reality. You may think that you're coming in being friendly, but the reality of it is if they see you a certain way, you've got to change it. Or you're going to have people leave and say that you don't understand what it's like to work for you. So it's time for you to figure out what it's like to work for you. Talk to them about it. Have a little bit of dialogue. Tell them that you're going to work on those things if you can, or maybe get them to understand why your behavior is this way. And that little bit of dialogue is going to go a really, really long way. Then the next thing is say, guys, I need your help. Let's together build the company that I always dreamed of owning and you guys always dreamed of working in. And that's to get your staff to create the new manual for your business. That is to get these people who are sticking with you to help you create the policies and procedures of creating a functioning business that does really, really well. And this is the way you get staff buy-in, is by getting them to write it. So it's a hard thing to write a manual. The best way to go about this is, step 1 is just start thinking about what a client experiences when they reach out to your business, when they contact your business. So what does a client hear when they phone you? What does a client, like the way you answer the phone? What does a client see when they approach your business? Before they touch the door, have you swept out the business every morning? I'm kind of going through the things that need to happen in my company right now, because when I walk in and I see that the front hasn't been swept out, it's like common sense to me. But understand that your staff doesn't have the same degree of common sense with your business than you do. So we need to get all this stuff on paper. So every morning, that front end needs to be swept out from the night's wind and autumn leaves and all that kind of stuff needs to all be swept out. And this needs to be put on paper, even though you think it's common sense. Everything needs to be put on paper. So we get your company to write this stuff with you. So then what does the client hear when they open the door? How are they greeted? Do you have a time that if you're doing something, you must look up immediately and greet the client? What happens if a client walks in and you're on the phone with another client? Do you just raise a finger, or do you put that person on hold? I have always maintained that the person in front of you is more important than the person on the phone. So that's where you quickly, if you can get off the phone quickly, you go, just 1 second, I'm sorry, and finish your phone call and finish booking that appointment. But if that's going to take a few minutes, you put that person on hold and deal with the person that's standing in front of you, because there's nothing ruder than not being greeted. And so many people, these are the little things that make a big difference in your business that allow you to go above and beyond. Then, what does a shampoo experience look like? Do you get your clients changed into gowns beforehand? How long does a shampoo last? Shampoo each other and come up with a shampoo routine and write it down. Have a system. Create a video of what a shampoo experience looks like. I'll tell you why in a moment. Get everything written down. The entire process of what a client experiences throughout their time in your salon, from the time they arrive to the time they check out. How is a retail sale? How is a pre-book done? All of those basic things, put it down on paper, every scenario. Then we get to our non-negotiables. And this is important, where you say, okay, guys, we have some core things that need to happen. What time do we arrive to work and what time do we leave work? Let's write this down. Again, the fact that you only have 2 people working there or 3 possibly, is so wonderful, because when you bring somebody else in, you now have a united team of 3 or possibly 4, including you, where everybody has the same belief system. And then when you bring somebody else in, you get to train them into this new culture. If it was me, I would write out your manual, operate for a month or 2 under these systems, work out the kinks, re-edit your manual, and then hire your first employee. That person then must read the manual. What's going to happen is the rest of your team is going to police things because they helped write it, which is so incredibly powerful. There's nothing better in a business than creating culture, right? And culture is a cult. Your business needs to be a cult. When your staff have the same buy-in that the ownership has, that's when you have a powerful business. That's when you have culture. That's when you have a team that is going to police things themselves, and where you don't have to be the eyes and ears of the operation, and things won't slip. So every single person that comes into the business from that point on now knows the standards that have to be met. And if you give people the standards before they start, it's really, really easy to get people to live up to it. If you give people standards after they've been working there for 3 years, you'll never, ever get buy-in unless they help write it. It's just one of those things. Now, people will always chip away. I walked into one of my salons the other day, and one of my junior stylists had a dress code violation. And dress code is such a simple thing. It's such an easy thing, but it's like, why the F did you do that? Like, why are you forcing me to talk to you about your wardrobe? That is such an asinine thing to do. And it's such a, I always tell people that if you're questioning something, don't do it. But, we have a grayscale to all black wardrobe in our company, and you roll in a brown sweater. Like, come on, you can accessorize with something brown, but you can't wear a brown sweater. What the hell? Why are you forcing me to now be the bad guy and to tell you that you shouldn't wear something when you've agreed to it when you started working for us? Dumb stuff like that is going to always happen. People will push boundaries, but if you get your core guys to be the ones who are buying into it, you're going to have these guys policing it. And then you don't have to be the bad guy all the time. I don't have to tell people too much stuff anymore because my team kind of polices a lot of stuff themselves. Anyway, this is how you do it, and this is how you build a business. This is how everybody else has done it, and you have an opportunity to do this now. So you have a choice. You can dig deep, look in the mirror and say, what are my shortcomings as a business owner? Where do I need to improve? And find out from those people what it is that you need to improve, and listen to them. Don't interrupt. Don't make excuses. Listen. This is the thing that's going to be really, really hard, is when they start telling you some of this stuff, it's going to be minor things, right? It's going to be that you come in a bad mood and you're pointing fingers and you're always blaming rather than congratulating, and maybe there's a certain word you use that pisses them off, because once somebody's decided that you're an asshole, this is the reality. Once we've made a decision about something, then every single thing that happens from that point, from that decision on, becomes us building our case to support our decision, right? You don't like Donald Trump, so everything that comes out of his dumb mouth is one other thing that makes you not like Donald Trump even more. And you can't hear any of the things that he did say that actually are smart or made sense. There's not that many of them. But he said a lot of things that make sense too, but you won't listen to it because you've already decided you hate him. And no, I'm not pro-Trump. But that's the way we are. We make our decision and then we build our case to support it. And that's what's going to happen with your team. So you need to get broken down. And that's going to be simply you being empathetic to them, and then get everybody to help you create the business of your dreams and create those systems. You will have a better business. You will be a better person. And you have the opportunity to build something great. Now, I'm going to say this one other thing. You combine renters and employees. I feel like that's a bad idea. You can allow your employees to build into becoming renters. That's okay, because they were born in your culture. They've worked their way up the ladder, and then they become renters. And generally, they will still be behaving like good employees. But if you just bring in Joe Schmo from down the road who came in without a resume, showed you their Instagram, because Instagram is the new resume, which is insane, and said, I have a $8,000 a month, $10,000 a month clientele, and you're like dollar signs because you're struggling as an owner, and you're like, yes, I can get that chair rented, that's a huge mistake. That person will never buy into your culture. And if you want to run a chair rental salon, write your chair rental rules, and that's fine, and have that written into your contract of your non-negotiables. But beyond that, you can't really get much out of them as a culture. There are some chair rental salons that do this well, but very, very few. But run a chair rental salon. Run the best version of a chair rental salon you can. But do not mix these businesses up, okay? Because the biggest thing that we make as a mistake as a salon owner is seeing dollar signs when somebody walks in the door, and then hiring and not understanding that this person is now going to shit on your business from the inside. Not always, but very often. I have a friend who owns a salon that mixes renters and employees, and he's got one guy in there that's the top earner in the salon that talks shit. And I don't like it. It makes no sense. I mean, how desperate do you need that $1,000 a month that the guy pays you? Like, don't do it. Don't do it. Make that sacrifice or say no. I won't hire anybody with a clientele in my company. Nobody. You can walk into my business from the best salon in the city, and I will not hire you because I want you to have gone through my company in order to be part of my culture. And we only hire from out of town because out of town doesn't have a clientele. We don't hire people with a clientele because when somebody walks in with a book, that they have ownership of that book, and it immediately degrades the culture of my room if I'm running an employee-based business. So don't get sucked into that easy money. Okay, easy money, fast money is always a mistake in business. That's kind of all I have for you today. Have a wonderful day. Have a prosperous day. Go celebrate your team's success. High five each other every time something good happens or every time something even normal happens, and be a positive person. And make your team start to love you. Make your team start to see you as a normal human. All right? Have a great day. I'm just a boy with a new haircut, and that's a pretty nice haircut. Charge her like a puzzle.